And I ask you, who is the problem? Really? Is it the players? Is it Devin Booker? Is it Kevin Durant? Or is it the head coach who refuses to adjust? Who refuses to play valuable and important players to this franchise's future and their now? Or is it the head coach who tells his star player to tone it down? You tell me. Apparently being a vocal leader for your team isn't a good thing anymore, according to Mike Budenholzer, because reportedly, and this is of course reporting from Chris B. Haynes on his hashtag Haynes Briefs, Mike Budenholzer recently had a one-on-one meeting with Devin Booker telling him to tone it down vocally. Just gonna let that one sit there for a second. Head coach calls a star player, franchise player, and tells him to his face, essentially, stop keeping your teammates so accountable. Let's make less room for your voice and more room for mine. And for those of you who are aware of who Devin Booker is and the type of personality he has on and off the court, he is not the type of guy to suck the air out of the room. He's not the type of guy to go on a rant and tell you, oh, everything is awful and what are you? No, he's going to hold you accountable, right? Not even to that same vocal level as a Chris Paul, right? But what did everybody love about Chris Paul? The fact that he held everybody accountable and made his teammates better. And if you look at this Phoenix Suns team, if you look at the effort that they're putting out there, the disorganization that they have, the lack of culture, the lack of identity, how on earth are you, as a head coach, going to sit down and reportedly tell your star, your leader, to stop leading? I understand it. The Phoenix Suns have more problems than just Mike Budenholzer. Roster construction, health from the big three, performance from the big three. I understand and I get it, and they are not blameless in all of this. Devin Booker is not blameless in all of this. Kevin Durant is not blameless in all of this. I get it. But what the hell is going on with Mike Budenholzer, man? I just don't get it. Not that I understood the, in my opinion, terrible coaching decisions and rotations, the continued starting of Tyus Jones, the icing out of Ryan Dunn, and lesser so, but still important also, Iguodala. The fact that Kevin Durant is being used as a decoy to stand in the corner. Mason Plumlee gets a ton of playing time. Nick Richards doesn't. Like Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal, when you need defense, are playing over Ryan Dunn. Bull stuck to the bench for 75% of the season, and then as soon as he's starting, you see value in him. I don't get it. I don't get that side of it. I don't get the rotation side of it. I don't get the starting lineup side of it. I don't understand basketball-wise what exactly Mike Budenholzer is doing to make the Phoenix Suns better, quite frankly. But this is the most egregious thing out of everything that I just said. If it is true, which I do choose to believe, Chris Haynes, and I honestly believe it. Because if you listen to post-game comments from Mike Budenholzer about why the Suns are where they are right now, you can see just how little passion, just how little fire, and to be frank, just how little of a desire to make it right Mike Budenholzer has. Take a listen to this.
Yeah, no, we haven't played well enough. We've had, stretches, where we haven't executed, whether it be defensively or offensively, and we haven't been good enough to get us through. And, it's not, I wish there was one thing but it's you go and there's always, it's always small things, too many to list, and where we got to be better. So we just got to keep working at it.
You mentioned having that belief and needing that fight in the locker room. Do you still feel that from the guys?
Yeah. No, I mean, these guys, Book, Kevin, Tyus tonight playing 38 minutes. They're competing. We got to make a few more plays, both ends of the court, and get over the hump and feel that, and then try and build on it.
And let's just put that in stark contrast with what Devin Booker had to say about why the Suns got to this spot in the season.
Yeah, I'd say, just, skipping over the details and, always taking the, get them next game mentality. At some point you got to draw a line, and should have been drawn a long time ago.
To your point about drawing that line and improving the communication and your experience with a lot of different types of teammates, what does it take to kind of build that environment, I guess?
Everybody has to be on the same page. You can starts with the leaders of the team, obviously me, Brad, and Kay, and Coach, but from my history, there's 15, 20 guys on the sideline that know the game plan, that know what's going on, and in the huddles, just constant communication.
Now tell me why the second person has to talk less and the first person needs more space to talk more. It quite simply does not make sense, and honestly, it makes me really mad because as a Phoenix Suns fan, as somebody who watches every single game, who covers every single game right here on PHNX Sports for PHNX Suns, I want nothing more before this team to be great. And we all know this team isn't winning a championship this year. It's absolutely no secret. Watch them play one game of basketball and you could take them out of the championship, let alone playoff, let alone play-in conversation with the highest payroll in the league. But I know for a fact that this team, even with all of its flaws on every inherent level, has not hit anywhere near its max potential because of Mike Budenholzer. Sure, other things are factors. But the biggest roadblock for the Suns to beat anyone, to win any game, has been beating themselves, and nobody has done a better job of deflating and defeating the Phoenix Suns this season than Mike Budenholzer. Bad rotations, bad starting lineups, boneheaded decisions that leave me, somebody who I will never claim to know more about basketball than any head coach or player, anybody who's spent their life coaching and around that game. I don't do that. But I'm left scratching my head after almost every single Suns game. And it would be different. It would be very different if you could look at the coach and feel a sense of confidence, a sense of faith, and know the players, the players are playing hard for their coach, man. They're putting it all out there. That's awesome. You know what? It's just the roster construction. That's it. It just doesn't fit. Team's flawed. End of playoffs, play in, flame out, retool next season, right? That's completely different than what we're dealing with here. What we're dealing with here is complete code red, complete absolute worst case scenario. And I promise you, as bad as this roster is constructed, with all of the faults that they are unequivocally nowhere near as bad as they have actually been. And I ask you, who is the problem, really? Is it the players? Is it Devin Booker? Is it Kevin Durant? Or is it the head coach who refuses to adjust, who refuses to play valuable and important players to this franchise's future and their now? Or is it the head coach who tells his star player to tone it down? You tell me. Down in the comments below what you think is happening. I'm sorry for being so loud. I apologize. But this is unacceptable, unfathomable, and completely stupid, quite frank. But guess what? We're still going to be doing pregame, postgame, live shows, shorts on YouTube, everything that you could possibly imagine, all right here on PHNX Sports. Because if this franchise is the Titanic, then we are the ones playing the violin on it. And we appreciate you subscribing, hitting that notifications button. If you are catching us for the first time, highly encourage you to check out the full live shows that we do, pregame, postgame, regular 3 p.m. live shows, and of course, more stuff like this all over on PHNX Sports. And if you're listening on audio, thank you so much. Rate us 5 stars. Make sure that you share the show with your friends. We appreciate all of you hate watching, sad watching, whatever type of watching you're doing. We appreciate you doing it right here on PHNX Sports.